Okay, so we're here in Cultureland, West Belfast, with Brenda Murphy. You're the writer of A Night with George, Brenda. Is there any point in asking what drew you to the subject?
I am a playwright, a professional playwright anyway, but I was taking a creative writing class here in West Belfast, and a bunch of women from Ballymurphy and around about, and it was in the tea break in the class. One of the women was complaining of her hangover and stuff, and I said, "Well, what are you up to?" And she said, "Oh, it was my 50th birthday the other day, and also my 25th anniversary, right?" Mm-hmm. And her mate said, "Fuck, that's like getting shot and stabbed on the same day and you went out to celebrate it." You see? Right. So, and then she says, "No, it's worse than that. I think I'd be on that crime watch." And she says, "Why, what did you do?" "I stole a cardboard cutout of David, your man Craig, 007.
007.
From outside the picture house in Dublin Road."
Right.
And your mum says, "Jesus, you'll be on CCTV and all that, will be on TV." And then another woman says, "Well, I'd rather go for George Clooney." And then she started to talk, and I says, "Well, where did you go for your wedding anniversary?" She says, "No, I'm divorced now." And then she started to tell me all about her husband getting inside, and it was hilarious. It was just hilarious. Uh-huh. So I'm at home a couple of days later, I said, "I'm going to write that down." And I'd written it as a short story, but I knew it would stand up better with the dialogue. It's just the dialogue that makes it, Uh-huh. And I wrote the thing up before I forgot the whole conversations among the women and stuck it in the bottom drawer. And then Brassneck Theatre Company started up, and I know Donna and I know Connor and Tony. And Donna said to me, "Have you got anything?" And I says, "Well, there's one piece there, but it really is for one person." And I gave it to them, and they loved it, and they wanted to put it on. And we done the first act of it in the old Arts Museum, OMAC, last month, and it was sold out there, and it went down really well.
Right.
So this is the opportunity to have it on in the festival.
So the character in this, Brenda Murphy, her husband was inside, does he?
He does, and comes out. Mm-hmm. And of course he's all educated. And she hasn't done too bad either. She's struggled on. She's went and done a nursing course. And he comes out and he's completely changed, of course, because he's done degrees in there. He's done a PhD in there. He comes out and he walks into one of those jobs, in the community, which I think has given employment to half the men that come out of jails, all his community groups and, all these ones, peace and reconciliation, all that sort of stuff. And he's been approached to go into politics, and, at first everything's fine, and then he's not talking to her the same, and then he stops sleeping with her, and she doesn't know what the hell's going on, and she asks him to tell her what's going on. And he brings this woman home that he's working with, always talking about this English woman, Chloe, and he brings her home to have dinner, and she's a vegetarian, and Donna is a man-eater, never mind a vegetarian, the character in the play. So she finds out that he's had an affair with this woman, and I don't want to give too much away in this plot, so he leaves her, he just leaves her. She's been waiting on him 18 years, and she's done everything for the son I have, and she's just devastated by him leaving her. And I wouldn't say she was twisted and bitter, I'd say she was very twisted and bitter at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So there's this dialogue going on too. She's telling George how she really felt, and how she felt betrayed and stuff. But she comes up from under it. This is a very common story, one that's never told either, for, you see the nice MLAs in their shiny suits. Yeah. And there's quite a lot of women behind, them who are left behind when they come out.
The hidden stories.
The hidden story. So it's, the play itself's got quite a good mix of contrasts, and there's pathos there, and there's humour there, and even in the tragic sort of story, there's a bottom line where she will bounce back, Mm-hmm. And, she'll have you crying, and Donna, the actress, really delivers the lines superbly. She's great comic timing.
Donna who, sorry?
It's Donna McGarry. She's the actress in it. She's the character playing the part of Brady Murphy. So I'm really proud of it. I didn't think at the time that it would work, but Donna is so bloody good in it that she makes it work. She takes the writing and makes it really come to life. Yeah. And it's like every wee tough Ballymurphy woman you ever met is up there, and smart too. And that's one of the things I do want to show, that women went through shite as well and came out the other side.
It's a monologue. The whole thing is a monologue.
It is, but she does other characters in it, so it doesn't actually feel like she does the other voices. She puts on an English accent when she's doing this girl Chloe. She does her dad's accent, Okay. It doesn't feel like a monologue, because I know I hate that talking heads thing. Yeah. I don't want to lecture that. Okay.
So it must be strange for you to stumble across ideas. Being a creative writing teacher, you're trying to get it out of other people. That's kind of rare, is it?
It is rare, but funding goes up when it goes down here. It's very hard to make your living as a professional writer. So you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
I went to Broadway with Binlets, which I co-wrote, and I ended up washing dishes here in Culturland about 3 weeks after coming home. That's what happens. What happens?
The life of the artist in Belfast.
And but you see, I love teaching creative writing because you can't teach creative writing. People come and have a need. Some want published. Some just want to write to express themselves. But they always say, I don't know what to write about. But they're the material in itself, you know. I mean, one class they said, give us a subject and we'll write about it. And I said, okay, murder. Go away and write about a murder. Fuck, 7 women came back and each story was about killing their husbands. Every single one of the kids. And one woman was... Yep. And I was taking a writing class down in fact, some of these stories were published. Yeah. I was taking a creative writing class down in Conway Education Centre. And every woman in that class brought back a fucking story about how to kill their husbands.
I just got engaged, that's not a good...
You haven't got their husbands, eh? Sure, one wee woman said to me the other day, I know how that swine flu started. And I said, hi. She said, that pig of a bastard I married, he had the flu at Christmas.
Such a way with words.
But at least women love their husbands at the same time.
Right.
But they just brought me 7 stories in. And I swear I was thinking, if any of these men die, I have, the whole crime scene in my hand here, So, no, it is odd, it's hard to do. But, I mean, 2 out of my class, one got published, one has a book out, which was launched down in John Hewitt, and the other one, it's very rare. It's very hard to tell somebody they can't write.
Yeah.
And I don't, actually, I would say to them, it's not up to publishing standard, but do you feel...
You're happy with it?
Yeah, are you happy with it? So I do creative writing class. I get a lot out of it too, because some of the stories women bring in are hilarious.
Have you ever had any men in your class?
Oh yeah. The men are different. Men don't often write about killing their wives. I think I'm too frightened to. No, the men usually stuff about their childhood. Funny enough, their fathers.
Yeah.
And I've had some great male writers as well. But predominantly it's women come to creative writing classes, Mm-hmm. I did take a men-only class and it was a total different. They're very shy and they're very loath to read it out in class, Mm-hmm. Or if they do, there's certain sections of it that they don't want you to read, out in the class because maybe it'd be emotional or something. So it is a completely different thing. And when you get men and women in the class, I think it makes the women hold back a little and the men hold back a lot.
Yeah.
So I find it all very interesting. You get lots of stories out of them, just...
As an artist.
Tea break is the best thing in creative writing class. Uh-huh. It really is. Just hearing people talking to each other.
Yeah.
When you get into a black taxi, you could write a play here. The men usually sit there quiet and the women are... Yeah. And so, I could write a dozen plays about everything in this... Just sitting down there a day. A Norwegian asked me, did I know a girl called Rosie Armstrong, because 30 years ago she came over here. And I went, well, actually, I do. No, Rosie Armstrong, she lived up the street from me. And she said, you see, everyone in Belfast knows everyone else. You could not do this in Norway. And I'm like, right. Because I didn't know it was a male coming today. I didn't know it was a man or a woman coming to interview me. So I was asking everyone coming in the door, you Lee Henry?
Yeah.
And she went, no, I'm Inga. Do you know Rosie Armstrong? I was like, fuck, I can't believe that up. Yeah.
So when can people see it then, Brenda?
Right. Here we go.
It's part of Fela, obviously.
Yes, it's on in the Roddy McCrory Bar, right? It's a social club, it's a big hall. And you get the tickets at the door on the night. It runs from the 4th to the 8th, isn't that right? All the details are on that there. You can...
Brilliant.
Right. And the Norwegian did want to know this. What does this mean? Now read that out there, Lee. What's it say?
There's not a woman in Ballymurphy that wouldn't do 6 months for you, George.
Yes. No, do you know what that means?
Of course.
You do 6 months in jail for a night with George?
Aye.
Norwegian woman. What does it mean, 6 months? She have him for 6 months? I said, no, he'd be wore out, love. So
people are going to learn from this as well, then?
I think so. I think so. There's a lot of comedy in it, but there's a lot of very blunt and sneaky little things that are there about, how men run their society and when they get to a certain level and people have been left behind. But it's up to people to judge, not me. I've written it. I like it. Of course I do. And I think Donna has done a great job as the character in it. And Tony's doing a great job at directing.
Well, we won't say anything about who's playing George then, will we?
No, we'll say nothing about that.
Yeah,
the women
we'll keep that under wraps.
Keep that under wraps.
Okay.
Okay, so all the women that I know want to know where I'm keeping him. In the bedroom. Only place for George is in the bedroom. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, thanks, Brenda.
Right.